Welcome back, everyone. We're talking right now with incumbent school committeeman, Attorney Paul Magliocchetti. Welcome to the program, Paul.
Thank you very much, Frank. It's a pleasure to be here.
Try making a bid for your second term in the school committee.
Yes, I am.
You know, I'll ask the same thing I have asked a previous member, and that happens to be, in the previous 4 years, what are some of the things, the accomplishments that you are very pleased with that happen to top that list, and what do you hope to be able to guide through in your next 4-year term if elected?
Sure. Well, I'm proud of a lot of things that have been done over the past 4 years. One of the first things that I did on the school committee was I helped to establish clear policies of how the school committee should run. As you remember, before I got on, it was very dysfunctional. There was a lot of personal agendas and not so much talk about education. So I helped clean that up. One of my proudest accomplishments was getting the all-day kindergarten program implemented citywide. I worked hard with the administration on that, and I worked hard with Representative Dempsey to get some seed funding to get it started so that the city of Haverhill didn't have to bear the full burden. Another thing I'm proud of was I challenged the maintenance director. I was not happy with the condition of the buildings. A lot of people remember the meeting where he talked about the flushometer, and I challenged him as to why he wasn't replacing the flushometer, and he couldn't explain it. Since that time, we've hired a new maintenance director, and the schools have never looked this good. So those are 3 things that I'm really proud of, and I'm also proud of the fact that we got together and we hired a strong superintendent that's established a clear chain of command. You know, there's always all kinds of personalities within the school administration and the school department, but there is no question as to who's in charge and the chain of command and the leadership in the school department. So those are 4 things I'm very proud of among the many other things that we've accomplished.
What are you looking forward to being involved in if reelected?
Well, we have a lot of pressing issues on the table right now. One thing I'm really going to address in my next term, should I be elected by the people, is I want to make sure that we meet or exceed the MCAS standards. When you compare us to the state averages, I think that we should be able to meet or exceed those standards. Another thing that I want to do is I want to continue to revise the accounting practices of the school department. As you all know, we ran into a deficit situation this year, and Superintendent Scully is working very hard with his new business manager, Leighton O'Connor, to reform the bookkeeping in the school department. We switched over to a cost center system a couple of years ago. We're still going with that, but now we're fine-tuning and we're really honing in on where the costs and the expenses are in the school department. I'd like to oversee that. And another thing that's on everyone's mind is the Hunky Middle School. You know, I think what's most important with the Hunky Middle School is that the people in Haverhill, the citizens of Haverhill, they're going to vote on whether or not we do something there, that they have accurate information and that they have confidence in the information that they're being given. And I hope to be a part of that. I think that I'm trying very hard to put accurate information up there and to make sure that people are as informed as they can be. Ultimately, it's the voters that are going to decide what to do. So let's just make sure they know what they're voting on and that they know what they're going to get.
Let's ask this as far as a turnaround time. When people talk about building a new school, there's a lot of discussion about what the cost may be, about how many students will be there, about what where it will be on the grounds, and as far as what it's going to take the place of. What is the estimated start and stop time of that type of construction, and from soup to nuts, until the day ground is broken, until the day a student can go ahead and walk in?
I think right now they're looking at about 2 years.
Okay.
It's like a 2-year window. Little less, a little more, it depends.
Understand.
You know, where exactly they're going to locate it, what they're going to find when they start digging in the ground. There are a lot of factors that fall into play, but I think 1.5 to 2 years, that's the range I've been hearing.
With one of the things you're talking about in your goal in your next 4-year term if elected is to meet or exceed the present MCAS standards, correct?
Yes.
Have the MCAS scores been going up, or have they gone down, or has there been a dip at all? As you know, if you were to chart these things on a graph, as far as the test scores are concerned, have they been consistently going up, or has there been a glitch or a hiccup? And if so, what do you attribute that to?
Well, last school committee meeting, we went over the MCAS scores district-wide, and the picture that I looked at was the 3-year picture. because it's really hard to tell when you go year over year.
Okay.
But it is helpful to look at a 3-year window, because then you're tracking kids that were in 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade.
Okay.
And I think then you compare those numbers with the state averages. To answer your question, I don't know if there's a clear answer, because it really depends how you're looking at the numbers and what you're comparing them to. But what I feel is we've gone up a little bit. We are doing a little better. We definitely, as a system, we're doing a lot better as far as how we are preparing the students for the MCAS. And we are focusing in on what the data is showing us. One thing that I pointed out at the last meeting that stuck out to me was that in the 5th grade, we had a big problem last year. The scores really went down in math in the 5th grade. And they saw that, the data showed them there was a problem, they addressed it, and this year it went back up to where it was. It went up almost 12 points. So that shows us that we have a system in place where we can identify where the problems are, and that we do have the talent in place to address the problem. But now it's an ongoing process that you have to bring the people together, and you have to kind of move with the changes in the MCAS, in the testing, and the changes in the population in the schools. That's one of the big issues that we have in the city of Haverhill. We have a lot of apartments in the city. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of people that'll live here for a year or two, that move elsewhere, that maybe move back. So, we have a lot of students that we don't get for their full tenure in education. But I do think we're doing a good job, and I think we're moving in the right direction. We just have to keep the pedal to the metal, and we have to keep holding people accountable. One thing
when you say holding people accountable, you're
yes.
talking teachers and students?
Teachers, students, and administrators.
Okay.
And that's the other big thing that I'm looking to accomplish. We've already started this new system of evaluations to create more accountability. We need more performance-based standards, and we need to use the data more effectively in evaluating the teachers, how they're teaching,
okay.
What the methods they're using, what's working, what's not working. We really have to use our evaluation system so that everyone has a gauge. Let's set a base level, and then let's move up from that base level, and let's make sure people are moving up.
But there has to be one in place right now. You're talking about being able to modify that, no?
Exactly. We just, the state evaluation standard was voted on and approved last year. And this is the first full year that it's being implemented. It was partially implemented last year. It's now being done again this year. There is a problem with evaluations as far as who's actually doing the evaluations. Mm-hmm. There's a big time commitment involved with doing the evaluations, and then you got to analyze the data. So one of the problems is the manpower that's required, because you're draining resources from the classroom to
Yep.
analyze data. So it's a delicate balance, but we definitely need to use it, because what we are seeing is the data helps us identify issues and then correct them.
Excellent. That'll have to be the last word. Attorney Paul Magliocchetti, running for your 2nd term on the Haverhill School Committee. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much, Mr. Novak. It's always a pleasure.
Okay, we'll be back in just a moment.